You can think of biology as like a huge factory assembly line or an orchestra playing music, where all the machines work in harmony, all the musicians play in harmony with each other. To have this harmony, you need a conductor of the orchestra, and then that's what protein kinases do.
Kinases are signaling molecules. In a cell, proteins need to communicate with each other. And kinases are master regulators of cell communication.
They target proteins and they make a very, very slight modification of the protein by adding a phosphate group.
They're just sort of master regulators. You know, either speeds up a process or slows it down or pauses it, and it's so beautifully simple.
Dario Alessi is a biologist. He works at the MRC protein phosphorylation unit of the University of Dundee in Scotland. After joining these labs as a young researcher, in 2012 he was appointed as director of the unit, which aims to identify and understand the biological pathways controlling cellular communications. Kinases play a central role in these exchanges, much like an orchestra conductor whose job it is to ensure a musical score is played perfectly. Any wrong notes lead to numerous diseases in many clinical fields.
Because almost all biological processes are controlled by the attachment and removal of phosphate from proteins, by using the same technology, we can actually switch relatively seamlessly from field to field, which is very unusual, in biology.
Dario Alessi initially looked at kinases involved in the development of diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, or even certain forms of cancer. In 2004, he decided to focus his research on a particular pathway, namely LRRK2, where its mutation could cause Parkinson's disease.
Geneticists discovered there are people or families in which there are mutations in these enzymes kinases. It's one of the most commonest explanations for Parkinson's disease. And it's also very important because the change in the kinase causes the kinase to become more active.
These mutations switch on the enzyme and basically make it hyperactive, so that the communication in the cell is basically like deranged and just like really overactive and not communicating as it should.
It's also a good thing to have, because if the pathway is caused by overactivation of the pathway, that means you can get a drug that hits that LRRK2 and makes it less active, and that will stop the overactivity, so you can restore normality to the pathway.
Dario Alessi and his team are now working on methods for blocking this mutation of the LRRK2 kinase, a mutation found in the genetic heritage of certain patients with Parkinson's disease. To better understand the disease and take the research forward, these scientists decided to establish close ties with an association of patients in the UK, organising regular meetings at their laboratories.
So I think in a way you can have a very strong input into the process if you are active enough and loud enough in terms of making your voice heard.
You hear from them how it affects their life, their dreams, their family, their ability to work and do things that they wanted to do. They teach you to understand the science and to explain the science to them in a way that you can understand.
We see, yes, that's a person with Parkinson's, but we look at the person behind it, and we try to somehow engage them in our research and try to make what we do here really relevant.
It's not just something that's happening on this workbench in this science lab, it's really affecting people's lives, and what they do could make such a difference. I think that's what's really interesting about being involved in this.
I have so much confidence in them. It was a no-brainer. And I think we should take part in clinical trials, because clinical trials are not set up because the scientists want to hold a trial. They're set up to find better treatments for us, not for the scientists, but for us.
I am optimistic that at some stage in the next 10, 15 years, there will be treatments that slow the progression of Parkinson's disease down, or maybe even prevent it if you start the treatment early enough.
Thanks to his work, Dario Alessi has furthered our knowledge of Parkinson's disease and paved the way for numerous possible therapeutic approaches, research and discoveries which he shares practically in real time. He is an advocate for open science and has developed platforms for data sharing even prior to publication and for giving access to technologies used at the MRC unit. Some 20 technicians are dedicated to carrying out experiments for researchers from around the world, with one goal: making this science accessible and open to all.
Science is exciting, so when you have an exciting result, you don't want to hide it from anyone else, you want to tell the world about it.
You have much more to gain than to lose by talking completely openly about your data, having no secrets. You have to make sure that all your tools and reagents are available to other researchers. We always try and enable other people to access it and make use of it.